Hey, what's up, fam? Welcome to this episode of 49 Faithfully. We're your hosts, Miriah Lee and Teran Lewis. TL, what's going on?
Oh, wake up to something new every day with this organization. But other than that, I'm doing good, living life, enjoying life. So, yeah, can't complain except for the organization. So, that's the only complaints I have. So,
Yeah, it's my favorite holiday today, so
yeah.
happy 420 to my people out there. Um, so, yeah, it's been a crazy couple days in news with, around Deebo Samuel, but I'd say even more crazy in the last couple hours. I think since last night, I think it started with, his brother, that the tweets, or I don't know if it was what platform it was on, but with his brother saying that, that Debo, what did he say? Um, we asked for a trade, and then he
Yeah.
said, he won't be a 49er. That's all that matters. And then a
Yeah.
little bit later, you can tell something had obviously happened where he tries to pull back all his comments and says, y'all take shit and run with it. I don't know shit that's going on with my bro. And now, it comes out today that Deebo Samuel has requested a trade with the 49ers.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, crazy. And, in one of the videos, I think it was from Ian Rappaport, it said in there that he had put in this request for a trade on April 6th,
Yeah. I saw that.
and it's April 20th. So that's, what, 2 weeks?
2 weeks exactly.
Yeah. So that's crazy. And now, just now, the news gets released, the what, a week or the week of the draft.
Yeah.
So it's all,
Yeah. 8 days before the
and
draft is interesting.
yeah, and this all comes off of Deebo Samuel scrubbing his Instagram, that um or whatever platform, and everybody told us not to worry about it, that it was no big deal, and that we were tripping and all this shit. So it's kind of interesting how everything now is come around. What are your thoughts? What were your thoughts when you initially heard that he asked for a trade?
Hey, what's up, Amin? Thank you for joining the show. Yeah. So it doesn't surprise me one bit. Um, you and I have talked about this before. Nothing about this organization surprises me. Like they just do what they do stuff that's kind of head scratching, where you're just like what the heck's going on? And I mentioned this in Spaces earlier today. After the DeForest Buckner trade, like I don't put nothing past this organization. Like don't be surprised if anybody is moved, other unless you're like Trent Williams or Nick Bosa. In my eyes, I feel like those two are really the only two untouchables on this
Yeah.
team. Honestly, like I just think like those two, like you wouldn't move. But yeah, I just I've told people this for years. Like I told you before, like I don't even buy jerseys anymore. Like, I'm not going to spend $200 on an authentic jersey and somebody leave the team a year later. I'm just not feeling that. You know what I mean? So, I've learned during my 42 years to not be attached to any players. Like I have my favorite players on the team.
Yeah.
You know how much I love me some Kyle Juszczyk and Fred Warner. Those are my guys. But if they were to move, of course I wouldn't be happy. But it's a business at the end of the day. So the thing with Debo, saying that he asked for a trade on April 6th, I feel like he. I mean, if that's a correct date, if he asked, I think these 2 weeks, he's been probably I think there's probably been some negotiations going on, like from both sides. And correct me if I'm wrong, didn't wasn't that around the same time Stephon Diggs got his deal?
Yeah.
And then I think like that day he was like, "Wow," or he said
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
something along those lines. So yeah, so I just feel like it's been negotiations for 2 weeks. It's not what Debo is wanting. Obviously, he felt he was disrespected in some kind of way or whatever. Because a player doesn't ask for a trade unless they're disgruntled. So he's disgruntled in some way, which is crazy to me because, I felt like he really loved playing for this organization. I mean, we lost against the Rams. He was on the field crying, so it's unfortunate, but it's always team before player. I just hope, I don't know what's going on both sides. I just hope, for one, that Debo's not being unreasonable. And two, I hope the 49ers just aren't lowballing him. Like if you're talking
No.
about paying him 15, 16 a year, then I can understand his frustration. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thoughts on that. So
Yeah, I think there was a video that released today too that it was kind of confusing because it was like of Debo's mom. Like, did you see that one? It was like of
Yes.
his
Yeah.
mom, like in a doing an IG live or something. And I don't know if she was talking to Debo or Debo's in the background talking on the phone to somebody or what the situation is, but you can hear Debo saying something that he didn't get any offers or that the 49ers only offered him something, some kind of a low amount, compared to what what reports are that he wants. Um, so yeah, I don't know. It's kind of crazy because it seems like things went like really bad really fast, right? Like, and it also came out today that and like that's what I mean saying here, but he's saying that don't think it's that he's unhappy with his usage, that it's the money. And it had came out earlier that it wasn't about the money, that it was about his usage, that he didn't want to be used, how he was supposed to be used. But just during the Pro Bowl,
Yep.
Debo was there saying, "Oh yeah, I'm a wide back and I love to be used like this." Like, he's the one that came up with that term, wide back. He's
Yep.
selling merch on his freaking website with the term wide back on it. But now all of a sudden you don't want to be used like that in a matter of a couple months since the Pro Bowl. Like, I'm not understanding, like during this whole season, like his whole thing was just give me the ball. I don't care
Hmm.
as long as I just want the ball in my hands.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden you don't want to be with the 49ers because you're not going to be happy with the way that they're using you. Like, what is that?
That makes no sense to me.
No.
I honestly think that's coming from his agent. I think his agent's probably like, look, to prolong your career, you need to just focus on being a wide receiver. I don't think that Debo, and at some point, it comes to a type of like, I get it. You want to, you pay an agent for a reason. They're your mouthpiece. But at some point, like if the money is pretty good and it's close, I'm saying, look, just go ahead and take it. Like you have to at some
Yeah.
point, be an advocate for yourself and not because sometimes all advice isn't good advice. So the fact that he's not, it's now that he's saying, "Oh, I'm not that." Like you said, the Pro Bowl, nobody forced him to say, "I'm a wide back."
Exactly.
Like he was the one that came out because I think the lady asked him, like, "Oh, so like pretty much like what position or something?" She asked him
Yeah.
something,
What
and he
position do
was
you
just
play
like,
or
"Oh, I'm just
something?
a like." He's like, "I'm just a wide back.
Yeah.
I'm a do it all. I play running back. I'm a wide receiver playing running back." And so he put that out there himself. He wasn't told that. So maybe after some talk with his agent, like, "Hey, let's slow down on that because that's going to diminish your value or
But
whatever
what
the
I
case
don't get
may
is
be."
that's what makes him valuable. Like,
Exactly.
that's what's gonna make, like, say, okay, him and the other wide receivers up right now for the contracts, that are all under the same
Yeah, the
agent and
AJ
everything.
Browns and all them.
Um,
Yeah,
the thing that makes him like more valuable over those guys, because there's guys there that have better receiving, usage
sure.
as like a wide receiver usage. But what makes Debo more valuable over those guys is the fact that you can use him in so many ways. So if a team would be trading for Debo, they're trading for Debo in like expecting to be able to use him the way the 49ers have used him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like they're not trading for him to expect to be, putting him outside and having him freaking just run routes. Like, let's be honest, he's not the greatest route runner, like that's not his strength.
Yeah,
So it's like the the whole thing is just like so odd. Like, I
yeah.
don't know.
For him, and I think to be fair, he had what 1,400 yards receiving, so that's a good argument for saying. And
Yeah,
him and Cooper Cup were like neck and neck, like for like 8 9 weeks of who was the number one receiver as far as receiving yards. So I can get his frustration on that, and maybe that's why he's like, look, not only can I play running back, but I am a legit wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? So that could be it as well. And you're right, he doesn't win because of his route running. He wins because he's physical and he
right.
just pretty much out muscles the corners. I mean, I like your trade proposal. I'm gonna be honest here. As much as I hate the Cowboys, if they're offering Micah Parsons and CD Lamb, I'm taking that all day. You can get you a legit receiver to line up outside of IU. The only issue with that is IU can CD Lamb will be up for contract at the same time,
Yeah.
so that would be tough. But Gallup already got his deal. He didn't get that much, but Gallup's pretty good. But yeah, Parsons and Lamb, I'm taking that every day of the week, because then you got a legit pass rusher opposite of Bosa, like who's stopping that pass rush. And Michael Parsons can also be used as a coverage linebacker, so he's so versatile. So yeah, I agree. I mean, if they do that, I'm taking it. But yeah, I get it, Mariah. Like you look at the AJ Browns and Terry McLaurin's, like they're more legit wide receivers per se, with their route running and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
even AJ Brown's not like a great route runner, but he always seems to be open and stuff like that
And I
too.
think he's
But
had 3,000-yard seasons already. He
yeah,
has his touchdowns are way more higher than Deebo's. So,
yeah,
like I'm not no like I don't know what Deebo's expecting. Like especially if, like one of those guys has to sign first.
yeah,
So one of those guys is going to take less than the other, and they're all under the same agent. So like it's
yeah,
going to be pretty, strange, like to see. It's going to be interesting to watch how this whole situation plays out. To see how they work this, and because I think AJ Brown, right, that he kind of scrubbed his Twitter or whatever. All he had was
yeah,
Tennessee there, but he took that out.
yeah.
So, like, is that a thing that the agent's telling them to do?
Could be. I mean,
Because what's
yeah.
his face, that corner, I think it was a cornerback, Ward or whatever, that just got
Denzel
paid.
Ward,
He
yeah,
has
for the
that same
Browns.
agent as them. And
Oh,
he
and I don't
wasn't,
see him
we didn't even
scrubbing
hear
nothing.
that he was in contract talks or anything. Like that was
Yeah,
done quietly, and he became the highest paid cornerback out there.
yeah,
So, like, why would you be telling, oh, this worked for this guy, but let's go ahead and do you guys the opposite and have you guys look like divas? And
yeah. It could be the simple fact that maybe the Browns didn't have any issue giving Denzel Ward what he wanted, so maybe he wasn't as disgruntled as these other guys. But I think with the receivers, and everybody keeps complaining about Christian Kirk and Trent Baalke giving him that huge
yeah,
contract, but at the same time, it's like it is what it is. Like, so I think with these receivers, like they're looking at Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, and Tyreek Hill's contract, and they're just licking their chops. Like, man, like I'm elite too. Like you can argue I'm top 10, and so yeah, I think it's just gonna come to a point where it's gonna have to be a budge somewhere. Like that group all came in the same time, the McLaurins and all them. So yeah,
yeah,
whoever gets that first payday is gonna set the market, I think, for that class. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, I mean, like I said, like I feel like Debo is he's a great football player, but as far as wide receivers, I think Diggs is a better wide receiver than Debo. Devontae Adams is a better Tyreek Hill, and they've been doing it longer.
yeah,
And I think with Debo, unless, and like I said, his route running is not the greatest, but it's not bad. But I think with guys like them, like the Justin Jeffersons, who are elite route runners, Keenan Allen's, like they always have longer careers because they're technicians. You don't have to be the fastest guy, but with Debo, if that speed slows down, is he still going to be who he is? You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So I think that's what it comes down to as well. So I don't know. It's a lot going on. The I don't want to be going back to San Francisco because not the money. It's all about the usage. I don't buy that at all. I think it is the money because come on now, if the 49ers said we're going to give you 70 million guaranteed, 110 overall in 5 years, he's taking that
yeah,
regardless of the usage. So, but I told Ted earlier, Ted H, and I was like, look, man, I was like, you have to look at situations because he was, and this is a shout out to you, Ted, you're my guy, so I'm not dogging you out. But all since everything's been coming up with Debo, you guys need to just chill out and be patient and pause. It's going to get done, which it still might. I'm not saying it won't, but like I was telling them, read between the lines, dude. They went and got three receivers in free agency. Although I'm not saying they're Debo, I'm not saying that, but they got three receivers for a reason because they was trying to add some depth because they know they might lose this dude. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So, yeah,
Um, so let's say to me, I'm not keeping a player on the team. This, like I told you this, off the air, and I had tweeted this. I'm not keeping a player on the team that doesn't want to be here. I think in any profession, even at my job, my old job, whatever, in what you do, in anything, if you have somebody that works there that doesn't want to be there, that's miserable, that's, it's just going to be a cancer, and going to make the whole morale, the whole workplace environment, everything is going to be bad. Like, why do you want to keep somebody on the team that has requested a trade, because there's people out there saying, oh well, he requested a trade, that doesn't, you don't have to give it to him. Okay, so somebody asked to leave, but we're going to keep him here even though they obviously don't want to be there. And then we have people saying, oh, and then we could sign him, we could tag him next season. Okay, so then we're going to keep him 2 years under his, keeping the guy that doesn't want to be here for 2 years now. Like, how do you think he's going to be in the locker room? How you think he's going to put all out on the field? Like, how do you think he's going to act towards Trey Lance? How do you think he's going to act towards Ayuk? If Ayuk's going to be the number one wide receiver, like we all are thinking is going to happen, how's he going to be acting towards him? How's he going to be acting towards the front office, towards the coaching staff, like, the guy doesn't want to be there. Trade him. Like, I like him, but that's been my stance the entire time. If he doesn't want to be there, if we can't meet his numbers, what he wants, he deserves to get paid. But if the 49ers can't do it, he's going to let him get paid somewhere, right?
Yeah.
The sooner you get it done, the better. So
Yeah.
if we realistically think about the teams, that need a wide receiver that would be willing to give up, what we think that we'd be getting for Deebo, where do you think that he'd be going, and what do you think that we end up getting for him?
So yeah, there's a couple teams, and you're right. So to go back to what you were saying about Debo being on his team, I think it just depends on his maturity. I honestly don't know how mature he is. Is he going to be a pro and stay on the team and still do the best he can to help us win games, or he's just going to be out there just pouting and, oh, I don't want to do this and do that, like, and if it's comes to a point like that, you need to get rid of him. Like, you just can't keep a disgruntled guy on the team if he's hindering everybody else. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's where the name on the front of the jersey is more important than the one on the back. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know. I get it. And everybody's, well, 49ers hold all the leverage. Sure, they do. But at the same time, like you said, he's going to go into a season after having an amazing season, only making like 4 million a year. And I'm not saying only, like, I'd love to have 4 million, but you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Only making four
Yeah.
million a year. So I can get his frustration. So is he really going to be out there giving it his all? Who knows? You know what I mean? So I totally agree with your statement on that. So it's just one of those things where it's like, if you guys were working through some stuff and he's just like done, and it's sad too because him and Kyle were so close, because when Kyle coached the Senior Bowl, like,
Yeah.
he saw Debo at the Senior Bowl and he fell in love. Like, I'm taking this guy. He was like, he couldn't wait to get his hands on him in this offense. So it just sucks that it's unfortunate that it's gone to this extent. I just hope that, and like I said, I want him on this team. I really do. He's a great player. As far as I know, he's a great teammate. Like when Trey Lance came in that one play, or no, that one half or for Seattle, he was just like, just be you. I just want you to be you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, that was awesome to me. Like he's encouraging. So I don't know. I just, I don't want to be the one to be like, oh, he's a diva, because I truly don't know. I do agree with you though. I think he does. I like his style. He's really into like high maintenance stuff.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't.
Which
But I
that
don't.
doesn't make you a
Yeah, that is
diva.
no, no, no,
Like,
no. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
Like, I know that. So like, look, I'm saying that because you said that you feel like he's about the money,
Yeah.
which he probably is. But at the same time, like, how dedicated, and I get it. He has a kid now. He want to set up your family. I totally get it. But I truly believe that some of these players would rather make, what's up, Denise, 49er Chanel? I feel like some of these players would rather make $25 million on a losing team than 17 on a winning team.
Yeah. And
You
some
know,
will, I
yeah,
think it
some will.
depends their age,
Yeah,
where they've been, what, their situation has
yeah,
been, on the come up, like,
yeah.
some definitely will.
Yeah, they'll be like, "Well, I'll get paid 28, 29 million and go 4 and 13 every year. Who
Yeah,
cares? Because I'm getting my money."
exactly.
Instead of, "Oh, let me take $6, $7 million less." Which, if you can't set your family up making $18 million a year, then you need to get you a financial advisor.
For real.
You know what I'm saying? So don't give me that. Oh, I want to set up my family. I can't feed my family on 18 million. Like, miss me with that one.
Yeah.
I feed my family on $5,000 a month, so don't miss me with that. So but anyway, yeah, so it's one of those things where I don't know. It sucks. It sucks, Mariah, because we're I feel like, and if he's traded, we're definitely worse than we are in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
definitely worse. Like I think we're worse now as we're rostered. If we lose him, we're definitely worse. So and with the weak NFC. So to get to your question, as far as teams, so I've heard people, say like, oh, they've heard other podcasts where like a bunch of Packers fans were saying, hey, you know, I would be willing for them to give you 22 and 28 overall. I'd take that in a heartbeat. But then you got the people, oh, you don't want him going to Aaron Rodgers and blah blah blah, and this is now. It's like, well, Aaron Rodgers had Devontae Adams, so you know what I mean. So what difference does it really make if
Yeah,
you
and
know?
up until this point, before you move on to another team,
Yeah,
up until this point, the Packers' problem wasn't that they didn't have a playmaker or a great wide receiver. The problem was they only had one of them.
yep,
They didn't have two. So even with Deebo now going there, they'll still just only have one of them.
yeah.
So it still doesn't fix their problems either.
Exactly, because they lost Valdez Scantling to the Chiefs, and they replaced him with Sammy Watkins, which at this point in their careers, I think is pretty
He's all
even, if
old
not.
and busted up
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. So yeah, I don't know. So yeah, everybody's like, oh, you don't want to trade him to Green Bay. To look, if they say 22 and 28, you'd be fools not to take that. You can address so many needs, and you can even trade down and get more picks. So, and then I've heard the Philadelphia Eagles, because they have two first rounders, I think like 15 and 18 or something like that. Somebody said like ask for 18 and like a couple players, or like maybe like Jalen Rager or somebody like that, just to complement IU guys at the on the other side, which again they would be up for a contract at the same time because they came in the same year. They're
Yeah.
both first round picks, so that would be tough.
But Deebo will definitely make that team better and
But
can
yeah,
help
with
that
him,
quarterback out a lot.
yeah, it would help Hurts. It would and then
Yeah.
he'd be mentoring Devontae Smith
Yeah.
because they have a good receiver who they drafted in the first round as well. So my favorite scenario, I mean, obviously I'm taking the first round picks and players, but I think the more realistic trade, I don't think we're going to get two first for a wide receiver.
Right. Me either.
But I feel like, and we talked about this off air, I'm a big fan of Elijah Moore. If the Jets come calling, you can't be too greedy. I understand you want the first. They pick in the top 10. They have two top 10 picks. I don't think they wanted to give those up. Like, they're a bad team. And I've heard the mention of getting Mekhi Becton, who's their left tackle or right. I don't know which one, but why would you give up your left tackle
Yeah.
when you have what's his name? Zach what? I can't remember his
Zach
last name.
Wilson.
Zach Wilson. How about to say Zach?
And
I'll
the
say Zach
problem is
Smith.
they've had a terrible offensive line
Yeah,
to
so I
begin
don't
with,
know why you would want to give
Yeah.
him up. So even if you trade us Elijah Moore, give us 35 and 38, and even if you want to throw in like a six next year or something, I'll take that because now and I get it. Elijah Moore is not Deebo. I'm not saying that, but at least you get yourself a good wide receiver who the last 6 7 games for the Jets was balling. You know what I mean? You get him, you get Ayuk, who's been training with them. You still got Juwan Jennings, and you can even use one of those picks to get yourself another receiver if you wanted to, like not early, not second round, but maybe third round or whatever. So I'd be okay with that. And then two, it'd be a win-win for both teams because we get 2 second round. So then that would put us at 3 second round picks, uh, legit the number two receiver, and then it would give them Debo, and they still have Corey Davis.
Right.
So I think it's a win-win for both sides. I think that's more realistic. I get it. People get too in their feelings about, oh, Debo's the man, and he's definitely worth 2 first-round picks. No, he's not. He's not
Yeah.
a quarterback. Like
Yeah. He's a wide receiver.
only quarterbacks and pass rushers to me, and tackles and dominant left tackles get. And then you look at somebody like Trent Williams. They was traded for a third-round pick.
Right. And the team still has to pay him to a massive contract.
Yeah, and the team still has to pay him. So yeah, I think the Jets are probably would probably be the more realistic one. Then somebody else said too, like, you had showed me the screenshot about the Saints clearing up all that cap space and stuff like that. Somebody said that even the Saints is like a dark horse to get him because they have a really great defense.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston's coming back and he was playing pretty well. Like the Saints were five
Before
and
he
two
got
when he
hurt.
got hurt.
Yep.
And then they still got a healthy Michael Thomas coming back. So Michael Thomas and Deebo would be pretty scary for them too. So it's there's a few scenarios out there, but I think Jets are probably more realistic because they have 4 picks in the top 38.
And the Jets are familiar with him.
Yep.
They run, a version of the Shanahan, system, or they're trying to anyway.
Mike LaFleur is there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I'm thinking the Jets as well. There's I've seen him now linked to a ton of teams, but the Patriots are one. I don't really know like what their draft capital situation is.
I heard Houston Texans too from
Yeah.
Haber Middlecoff. They said number 13 overall, and then like a swap of seconds or something like it was something along those lines. So yeah,
Um, so let me ask you this. What about if we were to be able to package up Debo and Jimmy G into a package deal and ship them both off to, say, the Texans? Because the Texans have, a young quarterback there. Jimmy can freaking do whatever he can do there. He's familiar with the GM or somebody from the Texans. Jimmy
yeah,
is. Um, and we would be able to package them up.
yeah. If I'm the Texans, of course, if I can get my hands on Deebo Samuel, I'm going to do that. But I really think they like Davis Mills. I think they think he's a pretty good quarterback. He showed some flashes.
Yeah.
So, like,
But I'm saying maybe even to,
yeah.
like
So
I
let's
don't
just
know if
yeah.
Jimmy even has a chance of being a
So, yeah,
starter
yeah. I
this
mean,
season,
he
so to
could. I
be a
mean,
backup or
if
compete.
if you trade him to the Texans, yeah, I mean, I would obviously definitely ask for 13. I'm asking for Brandon Cooks as well. Because Brandon Cooks is funny. He's one of the most underrated receivers in football. And he's still, I tripped out. He's still only like 28, 29. I thought he was in his 30s already. He's still super young
But
and he's
he's been
fast.
traded for like a first rounder like three
For
different times,
he
and
has, yeah. So
they just extended him.
yeah, they did. So I'll be like, and he didn't get as near as the money as what all these other guys are getting. So I'd be like, give me 13, give me Brandon Cooks. I mean, I don't know. I don't really pay attention to their teams. I don't know what assets they have, but yeah, I mean, if it can work out, if you can get, like I said, I'm putting this out there. I do not want Debo traded. However, if he is traded, you can get him off my team. If you can get him and Jimmy off the team at the same time, so be it. I'm taking it. So
What about Debo to Baltimore?
yeah, you
Go opposite Hollywood Brown.
opposite Hollywood Brown, I'd probably ask for Rashad Bateman, who was a pretty good receiver coming out of the draft last year, who was a rookie. I'd ask for him for sure, and I don't know what Baltimore pick like in the 20, like in the low 20s. Did they make the playoffs? I don't even think they
No,
made. They didn't, huh?
no, because Lamar was hurt.
Yeah, so they didn't make the playoffs. So they're probably picking what, like maybe 17 or something like that. I don't know,
Let's
but
see. Pull
yeah,
that.
yeah.
They have 10 draft
Oh,
picks.
did they?
They got number 14
Oh,
overall.
14. Oh,
Yep.
okay.
And then
So
number
14.
45.
Yeah, give me a 14, Rashad Bateman, and then a swap of seconds. Give me your. Would you say they pick 45th?
45, yep.
Give me your 45. I'll give you 61.
60, yeah.
Yep. I
Yeah,
think
because
that'd be
our
fair.
second's late. Like,
Yeah, it's
that's
so
basically
late.
a freaking third.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I would take that. I mean, like I said, and everybody's scared because they're just like, "What's up, Moles?" I think everybody's just scared because, like, and it's funny too because everybody's thinking about, "Oh well, we're not going to get the same type of production for anybody that we trade for." I totally agree, but the quarterback situation is going to be so upgraded.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. And I've been saying this for weeks. Like people keep saying like, "Well, Debo carried this team. He carried his team." True, he really did. But in 2022, he won't have to. That's
Yep.
what people are forgetting. Like people, we had to force feed this dude for us to win games because we had an incompetent quarterback. With Trey, we're not going to have that issue. We're going to have a quarterback who spreads the ball around. We're going to have a quarterback who's going to utilize all the weapons and attack every area of the field. So I'm not saying that Debo's not going to be a important piece. He's still going to be the best offensive player we have. However, he won't be counted on for us to win games. And people just don't understand that concept. Like we're not going to have to be like, here, Debo, we have to force feed you. We have to give you the ball, between 15 to 20 times a game for us to win. It's not going to be like that. And people just don't get it. Like, I get it. Debo is the man. He's probably one of the top two, three weapons in football. I get it. And yes, he carried this team in 2021. However, Jimmy G is not going to be the quarterback. Trey
Nope.
Lance will be the quarterback. So we're not going to have to worry about, oh, let's force feed Debo so we can get these W's.
Yep. Yeah, of course, most. That's what family's for. Um, and yeah, like I said when we were on with Grant last week, the offense used to run through Kittle. Kittle used to be the offense. So after Deebo, it's going to be somebody else. Like that's what the NFL does. Like none of these players, and we talk about this all the time that people need to get their heart out of it. Like if you're gonna fall in love with players over and over and over, you're gonna continuously have your freaking heart broken because none of these players are gonna be on the team for very long. Like
Absolutely.
that's the way it freaking works these days. Like we can't even see, especially these days, it's gotten even worse. Like we've seen rookie quarterbacks get drafted number 1 overall, number 2 overall, 10 overall, and not be on the same team the next year. Like
Yep.
teams don't care these days. So
I mean, yeah,
like it's
Josh
definitely a
Rosen, perfect
business.
example.
Yeah.
Look at Josh
Like,
Rosen; he was a top 10 pick, and people probably went out and bought his jersey. And oh,
yeah.
he's going to be our franchise quarterback then the next year. Oh, here comes Kyler Murray. Okay, you're out of here. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? Don't
Yeah,
get
and now
attached to
and
these
now
players.
and now Murray could be out the door.
Yep.
So and I think that's the funny part, is that we talked about this before too with Murray, like he went through all this, scrubbed his social media, 49er fans talking all kinds of shit about him, but then Deebo does the same thing and it's like, "Oh, there's nothing by it. He's just trolling.
You're
Oh, that's,
overreacting.
yeah, you guys are overreacting. It's nothing." Like, okay.
And it sucks too because the people who like to be on Twitter and dragging people aren't man enough or woman enough to give apologies.
Yep.
Because if I'm wrong, I'm gonna say it. Hey, you know what? I screwed up. I was wrong. Just the other day, I was like, "Oh, the Mavericks are gonna get swept without Luka Doncic," and it didn't happen. They end up coming back and winning. I was like, I was wrong. Like I thought they had no chance. But you don't. But somebody who ain't real ain't gonna do that. They're just gonna be like, and then all I kept seeing was the same people too, the same group of people. You guys are overreacting. See, I hate 49ers Twitter.
Yep.
All these overreactions and blah blah blah, and you guys are ridiculous. And now the same people who were talking this trash are quiet.
Well, I'm still seeing some people be saying that today too.
Hmm.
That we're still overreacting. So the
Hmm.
guy is asking for a trade, but still overreacting. Debo's
Yeah.
going to be on the team. So and
Yep.
it's funny, people are there. They're lined up when they're right about something. They're lined up to collect their flowers, but when they're wrong, crickets.
Absolutely. Well said.
Um, Another thing I wanted to talk about, speaking about being right, let me collect my flowers real quick. Um, Alex Mack, it came out yesterday that he has yet to make a decision on if he'll return to the team this season. I've heard a few people talk about this, and the way I'd look at this is if he was planning on coming back, there was no need to come out yesterday or whenever it was and say anything because you'd be coming back. There'd
True.
be no reason to I haven't decided yet. Like you would know you were coming back. The fact that he's still there pondering it and celebrating his wedding and like our brother Breezy had said yesterday or today one of the shows, like after a lot of us were, the city is closed down and everything for COVID, so a lot of us were out of work. We learned to work from home to survive from without having to go physically to a job, right? And when it was time to go back, like a lot of us were like, well, shit, we don't want to go back. We know how to do our job from home. We know how to, do our jobs now from not having to go back to the casino, not having to go back to doing this, to the school, to whatever it is. Um, so, and now he just took this now summer break. He got married, he's been out partying, living his life with his wife, the new exciting times, the honeymoon phase. Like, and he's still pondering if he wants to return to football and come get beat up when he's an old man and all this shit with a rookie, like technically he's not a rookie, but he's going to be his first year starting
First year
quarterback,
starter. Yeah.
like
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm said this from the beginning. I'm not too sure that Alex Mack's going to return. I'm hearing people saying they're 95% sure Alex Mack's not returning to the team. Um, what are your thoughts? Do you think he's returning? And if not, if he doesn't return, does that make center a higher need in the draft? As in, like, are we going to need to draft a center with that second round picks?
I'll put it this way: if we lose Alex Mack, we're in trouble, fam. That's all I'm going to say. And I'll say this: if Alex Mack retires, I think Debo's getting traded for sure because we're going to need that capital to draft. Because a center at 61 is not starting for this team. Kyle does not trust rookies. He doesn't. As far as offensive line, he doesn't trust rookies on the offensive line. You notice since he's been here, he's tried to get a veteran presence
Yeah.
for that center position, whether it was Weston Richburg, now Alex Mack. So, yeah, I mean, we do have that guy that we had last year on the practice squad, that Jake Brindle, whatever
Brindle,
his
yeah.
name is. I don't know how much he trusts him. But yeah, I feel even if Alex Mack, even if he doesn't leave, I feel like offensive guard or somebody interior line guard that can play center is going to be a priority. Whether if it's not at 61, it has to be at 93. So you still get you a top 100 player, if you pick him at
Yeah.
93. So yeah, if we lose Alex Mack, we're in trouble. I mean, unless they go out and they get themselves a JC Treader who got cut from the Browns. He's a veteran presence that's out there who plays the center position effectively. So if we get him, I think we'll be okay. But man, if we lose Alex Mack on that line, that'll put us at more than likely, depending on what goes on the Glynchy, 4 new starters on that offensive line. And I get it; they've been in the system for a couple years. But if you tell me that we're going to start the season off, let's just say hypothetical, we start the season off with Trent Williams as our mainstay. Then you got Aaron Banks, Jake Brindle, Jalen Moore, and Colton McKivitz. I'm not feeling that.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling that for Trey Lance. Like you got to me, you didn't do what you had to do to put the best offensive line in front of him possible to protect your future and present quarterback or whatever the case may be, a quarterback of the future. So I just don't get it. I hope he returns. I really hope he gives us one more year. But if he doesn't return, we're going to have to be scraping to see who's going to start, because even if we do draft a center at 61, I just don't see Kyle trusting him to start with Trey Lance. You're going to have 2 first-year starters at center and quarterback. I just
Right.
don't know how good that'll work. I know Daniel Brunskill has played that position before, but you keep him away from center. He's terrible.
Yeah. Bebop, yeah, Max signed for 2 years, but he's still contemplating if he's going to retire, if
Yeah,
he'll
he's
return to finish the last year of his contract or
correct.
not.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I mean, if he does, well, first of all, the Shredder, or what's his name? The
JC
Browns
Treader.
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
JC Treader.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, do we know why, like, he hasn't been signed anywhere yet, or like what his deal is? If he's asking for too much money,
I
or
think somebody told me the money, and he does have an injury history as well.
okay.
So that's one of the things why he's probably out there. Same thing, kind of like with Tyrann Matthew. It's not the injuries with him. I think it's just the money for him. Like he's a great player. Like they're both good players. You can argue that Tyrann Matthew's still great in somewhat form,
Yeah.
but I think it's the money situation. But yeah, I heard that Treader from fans who follow him more, that he has some injury history, but I don't
All
know.
right. And then if we do end up trading, Debo and or Jimmy or somebody that gives us, an earlier draft pick, I know that we've talked about some guys that can play those, multiple roles, but that would be drafting somebody later, with that pick that we have right now. If we were to get an earlier pick, is there somebody, a center that maybe Kyle would trust more, that we could draft earlier, maybe late in the first or early in the second, like,
That Linderbaum kid from Boston College, I keep hearing his name a lot. Like he's probably the best center in his class, but you're gonna have to trade up in the first to get him. So let's just say hypothetically we do that Jets trade we talked about,
mhm,
and we end up getting 2 seconds. So that'll give us 35, 38, and 61. And then let's just say that Jimmy gets traded away during draft time, and we get like a third for him or whatever the case may be. So then we're looking at 3 seconds and 3/3. That's a lot of ammunition to go up and get you somebody in the first round that just in case you don't trust like Jake Brindle or whatever. If you want somebody to come in and start right away, then yeah, I think you'd have to trade up to the first. Or if you stay at the 35, 38, there's a couple players you can get there as well. So yeah, I don't think waiting till 61 would be ideal if you're looking for a starting center in the draft.
Right.
You're gonna have to get somebody off the street. Like maybe wait till like the June 1st cuts or something to get somebody. So
Yeah, because like I've been a fan of wanting to get a center that would grow with Trey Lance, but like we've talked about, and like you just said, Shanahan hasn't been wanting to trust rookies at all lately, and definitely not on the offensive line, right?
not at all.
So
No.
that's kind of scary. Like, how are we ever going to get a younger center to ever grow? Like we're going to just have to keep signing grandpas off the street to play
Yeah.
center
I wouldn't be
because
surprised if Alex Mack is really contemplating retirement, that Kyle and John kind of have a sit down with him and say, "Hey, look, we'll give you like some more money or something to sweeten the deal," because that's probably the only way they're going to be able to keep him. Because yeah, like Bebop said, we signed him for 2 years, but I don't know what the extent of the contract was. But
yeah.
let's just say it was 6 million or whatever, and they say, "Hey, we're gonna redo your contract. We'll give you 1 year, 10 million or something like that." Then then more likely he'll stay for that income. So
And I'm sure that, like he has a relationship with Shanahan, right? Like they've been together in the past.
over a decade.
So, yeah, I'm sure that if he what, that usually football players aren't actually leaving it up to the last minute to decide, if they're going to retire or not. They usually are already leaning one way or the other. They're just waiting to announce it or waiting till whatever to happen, right? So I'm sure if he already knows he's going to retire, has a feeling that he might retire, it's, 60-40 or whatever, leaning towards the retirement side, that Shanahan and John Lynch are aware of that.
I'm pretty sure.
Just
Yeah.
like with the whole Joe Staley thing, that when Staley retired, that they were aware of it ahead of time and knew, that they had a move that they were already planning to
Exactly.
make,
They were like, "Oh, Staley's gone. Okay, now let's see what I can do to get Trent Williams to come here." And then so they
Yeah.
made that trade. So yeah, I agree.
I mean, one thing, about this team is we never, hardly see him in a situation to where it's like, oh shit, like, what are we going to do? Like, we're without somebody. Like, somebody just pulled a fast one on us and we didn't have a clue, except when it comes to Jimmy's surgery, like, other
Yeah.
than that, normally we're not in a situation like that. Normally, it seems Shanahan has a really good relationship with his players and, um, like the players talk to him and, we see that relationship, right, with all that. So, I think that he has a good understanding of what's going on with the team and, the players and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And,
I agree.
like Bebop brought it up earlier about, it said, don't believe the reporters, Deebo loves Kyle and vice versa. And that is true. And that has been something, a big factor going into this is that we knew about their relationship, right? You know, um, they have both told us previous that Debo would just go into Kyle's office, throughout the week and just talk about family, religion, football, whatever it is, and that not many other players do that. So, and Kyle has, been on the record saying that Deebo, is not just a player for him, that's, somebody that he considers a friend, right? So they do have that relationship. And with that being said, we've also seen that Kyle has that relationship with Trent Williams and came in at the last minute to save Trent Williams from signing with another team, right?
He was
We
almost
know,
a chief.
yeah, we knew that
Yeah.
Prague, was playing games and not wanting to give him, and the Chiefs were going to offer him more. And Kyle had to call Prague himself and say, hey, get this fucking deal done. We're not letting this guy go. So that could be, a situation that we see happen, that's, anything's possible, like we thought that Jimmy was
Yeah.
going to be off the team. He said his goodbyes, but anything's possible because here he
Yeah.
is, right? But
Yeah, you know, it's
um,
funny. Everybody wants to drag Parag because I think his name is just there for the contrast. I truly believe it's coming from Jed. Like I think that Jed and him have this relationship of like where Jed has like this standard of like, okay, this is what I'm willing to give these players, and this is net because I just don't see it happening where like Kyle and them are letting all this go on. Like, you know what I mean? Sign my Debo. Like, how is all this going on? Like you said with the Trent Williams thing, like everybody, it had to wait till the last minute for Kyle to jump in. Like, I shouldn't even have had to go through that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just to me, it just seems like, and it's funny too because I remember Mike Nolan when he first got hired as the head coach. I remember he had an interview and they asked him like, "What made you come to the Niners?" He goes, "My first question to Jed York was, I heard that you were a cheap owner." You know what I mean? So it's like I don't know. I just feel like it comes from him above, but I don't know. It doesn't make sense. But I don't know. I'm getting to the point where like you know, as much as I love Debo, I can take it or leave it at this point.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'd love for him to stay on the team, at a good deal. But at the same time, it's like if you guys feel like I just hope it doesn't come out kind of like the DeForest Buckner thing when DeForest Buckner was like, "Yeah, I asked him to meet me in the middle and this, and that," and they didn't budge type thing. Like, because then it's going to start having other players question this organization
Yeah.
because players talk. Oh man, you don't
Yeah.
want to go there; they'll lowball you, whatever the case may be, and that's not the kind of reputation you want as an organization.
Yeah, and that's what, like we'll never know, like you said, who it is, if it's Prague or not. But my whole thing with Prague is that he's been there way too long, like 22 years or 21 years or something. Been working for the 49ers. So like he has such deep inside ties to that place. So like that's kind of scary to begin with when somebody has so much power and they're the ones that work with the money and the contracts
Exactly.
and like we've seen already before, about like him do shady shit with players' contracts, like some people like love him, but I think a lot more so fans have kind of like been upset with him, in the last couple years.
Yeah.
And I definitely wouldn't be, against replacing him sometime soon.
Oh, absolutely. And as much as I hate the Rams, whatever they're doing in that front office as far as contracts, take that blueprint.
Yeah.
Because they know exactly. I don't care what nobody says. People want to clown the Rams. They have no draft capital. Well, you know what? It doesn't matter because they're always competitive. They just came off a Super Bowl. And regardless, people think that, oh, they don't have any money. Then as soon as you think they don't have money, somebody gets signed there. Bobby Wagner goes there. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
they're
saying?
signing
So,
players with their no money while we're the ones sitting here broke. We have no salary cap right now. We don't even have money to sign our draft picks once we get them,
yeah.
and we have no players signed either. So it's
Yeah.
like, what, something's going on.
Yeah, so you can say what people can say what they want. Oh, the Rams, this Rams, that, and I get it because I can't stand them either. But they know something. Like they're smart in negotiation contracts. Because
Yeah.
I thought there was no way that they get Bobby Wagner, but you know what? They made it happen. They moved some money around, did what they had to do, and they were like, "Nope, we're getting him."
And that's the thing. We see other teams making moves, the Chiefs. How
Saints.
do they sign their quarterback to the most, craziest deal that we all were like, holy shit, what is this? When he first signed, and then like we've seen for the last 3 years, 4 years, they were signing anybody possible. It's like we see teams that are able to do all kinds of shit with the salary cap. And it's yet, Prague seems like he's constantly just like, like trying to fuck over the players all the time.
Well, it's
And it's
funny.
just like
Somebody
I'm
mentioned,
getting sick of this shit,
yeah,
like
this.
honestly.
Yeah, I don't know how true it is, and if it's true, this is crazy. Somebody mentioned in Spaces earlier that the Chiefs signed Patrick Mahomes, gave him a $500 million contract, signed Kelsey and Chris Jones all in one off season.
Yeah.
So it's like you gave $700 million almost in contracts in one off season, yet we can't sign our best player on offense. Like something
Right.
just isn't right here.
While giving, guaranteed money and all this shit. Like the 49ers can't they're like they're not even a team that gives like a high amount of guaranteed money. Like they're stingy with that shit too. It's like
Yeah,
there's nothing that they do well in the contracts. They backload the shit out of them so that the players never fucking see that money anyways,
yeah,
They
yeah,
give them outs like after 3 years, they have an out after every single year to be able to screw the player that way. Like they don't give them guaranteed money up front, so they screw them that way. Like they don't give them guaranteed injury money.
yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, you're right. I feel like the best contract that they've done in the last couple years was Trent Williams. Like for him to get $100 million contract
yeah.
with what 46, 48 in guarantees, that was kind of a steal. You know what I
Or
mean?
the
Like,
best contracts they give to the worst fucking players that they
yeah,
shouldn't, like Jimmy
like D four,
G and D
D Ford.
Ford. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Like I think for us before the draft, I mean, well, not before the draft, because I know we have a time frame for where we have to sign our rookies and stuff. So the next at least 6 7 weeks, something's gonna have to give. So I wouldn't be surprised if like Fred Warner, his contract is messed with, and they have to do some extending or restructuring with him, and then I think Jimmy Ward probably get
Jimmy
a
Ward,
get an
yeah, good
extension, and then
extension.
after that, and then hopefully, and then that'll give us some more money because we have to have. I mean, depending on, I don't think we'll keep all draft picks, but let's just say we stay at our 9. I think it's like 7.7 is allocated to the draft pick. So, and
Yeah.
like you said, we have like I was surprised we signed that Kamoko Toure guy. We said D Ford at the same time. That's funny, but yeah, like when we signed the defensive end from the Colts, I was shocked. I'm like, where'd that money come from?
Yeah.
So I'm just like,
Yeah, let's talk. We didn't talk about that guy either. What do you think about him?
I like him. I mean,
Yeah.
the far. I mean, he. I don't think he was. He played a full 16 or 17 games last year, but he had 5.5 sacks, which is pretty good. I mean, because the Colts have a good defensive line, just like we do. Their rotation's pretty good, and we all know what Chris Casera can do. I mean, Arden Key had like 5.5 sacks in 3 years with the Raiders. He
Yeah.
comes in and he matches it in 1 year with us, so it's
And
going
this
to be
guy
a
had five
battle.
and a half sacks and like only a little bit of snaps he played. Like he didn't play very many snaps to get that
No,
much production, you know. So
yeah. So for him, I like it. I honestly hope we don't touch defensive end until day 3. I don't think we need to touch defensive end. We re-signed Hyder. We got Ebukam still on the team. We got this Kamoko Toure guy. We still got Charles Omenihu.
yeah,
So we have like 4 players that are going to be bad. I mean, even though Omenihu can play both tackle and edge, but I think the main competition though is going to be Ebukam, Hyder, and the new guy Toure we just brought in, which is a good problem to have because one of them's going to have to step up. I think Samson Ebukam's probably the fastest step out of all of him, but I think Kerry Hyder's probably the most technical. He's been in the league long. He's been under Kaseric. This will be his third time being under Kaseric because he was with them with the Lions. He was with them with us that 1 year here, and now he's
hmm,
back. So I think he could have an upper hand just because of what he did, a year ago, getting 8.5 sacks. So yeah, I think that's a good problem to have. I don't want to touch edge until round 5 6 probably because I don't think we need. I think we need to focus on offensive line, safety, and then to me, I'd depend on what's going on with Deebo. Even if Deebo stays, I'm going with wide receiver. I'm not Ray McLeod. He's pretty good. These other 2 guys we signed, I'm not impressed.
right.
I'm not impressed. And if somebody were to go down, we need some depth because I'm tired of having the Mohamed Sanu's and the Travis Benjamin. I'm sick of these dudes. Like we need to draft us a good receiver. Juwan Jennings only signed a 1 year tender, so who knows what's going to happen with him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we need to get us a good. They don't have to be a big guy, just somebody a reliable wide receiver who can come in and play inside and outside forward, just in case there's an injury.
Do you think because I believe that Samson's making quite a bit this season
Hmm.
because he signed a 2 year, and I want to say he's making like 6 million this season.
Yeah, he signed a 2 year, $12 million deal.
Do you think with these other signings and stuff that they've made that now makes him possibly,
A release candidate,
yeah,
possibly. I think. Well, what don't we have like a mini camp coming up here pretty soon? Like
something, yeah.
like right before the draft or something. Like something's coming
Well,
up.
they
I
have
know
their
there's I know there's some
workouts,
kind of there's
whatever,
some.
this
Oh,
week,
okay.
but that's it.
Um,
They
I
don't
just
have to show up either.
Yeah, he's making a lot. I mean, either he could be cut. You're right because, like I said, we got and we also signed Jordan Willis back.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
so
we
if we
have
cut him, I mean, that frees up basically enough that we'd be able to sign,
yeah.
make
So yeah,
some.
you're possibly right. It's either going to be one or two things. He could be well. It could be 3 things. He might impress because like I said before, like coming into the season, I thought he was one of the guys who was going to step up. I predicted him to to be like have stats like Kerry Hyder did, 8.5 sacks. But I feel like he wasn't used probably correctly because he was, but I feel like the second half when Eric Armstead moved inside, him in a minute he started getting off a little bit, and I think he ended up with 5.5 sacks.
Yeah.
So I think the second half of the season, like if he would have played the way he played the second half of the season, he literally could have had like 10, 11 sacks. So that's something that you can argue, like, man, like I'm going into the second year under a system that I wasn't familiar with. Now I know the system. Chris Kasarik and D'Amico Ryans are like, okay, I know how to use this guy. So yeah, it could be one of those things where, or he can get an extension as well. They might just say, hey, let me tack on another, because he's still young. I think he's only like 25, 26. So it can be one of those things where it's like, let's tack on another 2 years. We'll give you, we'll extend 2 years with another 6 million to only he making only 3 million a year or something like that instead of six. Cut a
Yeah.
salary in half. But I don't know. We have a lot of depth at edge. I think these signings is because they feel like, and me and you talk about, I think Chris Kasarik is amazing. And I just think with all these signings, it's going to give them the, what's the word I want to use? I don't know. It's something I wanted to say, but anyway, gives them like the positivity that Chris Kasarik can get the most out of these guys. So I think
Yeah.
they're just like, you know what, Edge is cool in the draft, and everybody's been preaching that. Everybody wanted the Chandler Joneses, Hassan Reddick, all this other stuff. But with Chris Kasarik, if you get all those guys, if you can get 6 sacks from Hyder, um, well, let's just say you get 7 from Hyder, 6 from Ebocom, 6 from Turay. I like that because now you're using all your depth and you're keeping these guys fresh. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So, and then to supplement for DJ Jones, we got that Hassan Ridgeway from the Eagles, who's a similar player. So our D line to me is okay in my opinion. It all depends on what's going on with Javon Kinlaw, I think.
Yeah. To me, I'm just worried because, like, if they think that they can get 5.5 sacks from this guy and 5.5 sacks from this guy and 5.5 sacks from this guy, well, why did they need to pay this guy $6 million
That's
to
true.
get 5.5 sacks when they're only paying this guy 1 million, 1 million, 1 million?
Yeah,
You know.
that's true. That's true.
Um, I also think that if they end up, getting a guy even, second, late second day, late, third day, whatever, that might show a sign too that they're probably more,
Yeah.
willing to cut him at that point.
Yeah, if I'll tell you what, if they pick a edge, if they draft an edge before round 4, one of them dudes are gone, and it's probably Ebocom because I don't think any player they pick, even at 61, I don't think any edge at 61 is going to beat out Hyder or Turay, or I just don't see that, or Ebocom. I just don't see that happening because they're new, they're fresh in that system. So, but yeah, you're right. If they draft like if they get one sixth, seventh round, it's kind of like okay, let's see what he can do.
Yeah.
But if they get one like in their top 105 picks or something, then Ebocom could be a release candidate for sure.
And no, nothing against him or, like,
Yeah,
what he could possibly be. It's just, focus,
it's
merely
salary.
for the fact that, yeah, what he makes.
Yeah, and like you said,
Um,
if he's 6 million and he's only getting 5.5 sacks because you're on a rotation, like is he really worth that salary? He's
yeah,
getting like $1 million a sack. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So yeah, I get it.
I also think, like that this Toure guy, is that his name?
Yeah, mhm.
That I think as long as we have Chris, coaching the D line, that we're going to continuously see, these players sign every year, hoping, like now they've seen, a couple years in a row, right, that Chris has seen, turned a guy that signed in a 1 year contract with us, turned him into this, good player, and then he goes
Yeah,
off to sign a bigger contract with another
yeah,
team, right? It's happened 2 years in a row. So now, for this guy too, he came in, he signed a 1 year deal. He's probably banking on himself and the fact that Chris can get the most production out of him, can coach him up to do the best that he can do. And if he get balls out and gets 8, 9 sacks, well, now he's going to go sign a contract, somewhere else,
yeah.
right? And so next year, then what, guy
That's
are we
smart
going to get
business.
that's trying to save, their careers, and we're going to be able to sign them on the cheap, and flip them too, like,
That's smart
so yeah,
business.
it's pretty good. Yeah.
It's smart business because one, you get a compensatory pick out of it.
Yep.
And that's if they become a starter, like Kerry Hyder did. He left us to become a starter, so we got a compensatory pick for it. Like you said, if I'm a defensive tackle, defensive end, and I'm kind of like middle of the pack type of guy, I think, and I'm sure these agents are like, man, go to the Niners, go on a 1 year deal, $2 million. Go, go make peanuts for a year, get yourself 8.5, 9 sacks, and then get yourself paid. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think that was smart business from him because I think he had like $1 million like to come here, right? Like it wasn't an expensive
Yeah.
contract at all. But if he's banking on himself that he can come in and maybe beat out a Hyder or beat out what's up, Troy? Beat out a Hyder, beat out a Ebocom, whatever the case may be, like a Jordan Willis. It's so we have a lot of depth. There's not a lot of great pieces, but they're all solid. So I think with Nick Bosa, he's going to get his snaps. He's a 3 down player, but I think when you get these guys, you keep your D line so fresh because, like I said, if Kinlaw's healthy, you put him in on the obviously the running downs, first and second down or whatever. Then on third down, if you want to move around that line where you can do the NASCAR package that we haven't seen in a while because Robert Saleh left, you put your fast guys in, like you keep Eric Armstead inside, you move in Nick Bosa inside because he was doing that in the I mean not national
Mhm.
champion in the NFC Championship game. Move him inside, and then you put like maybe Turay or Ebocom or Hyde or whoever the case may be on the edges, that's going to create a lot of pressure. Plus, all the guys are quick. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, I think it's definitely gonna. I mean, we're gonna know a lot in a few days, right? When the draft comes. I
yeah,
think. I think to me, if we don't see Debo traded, prior to, after day one of the draft, if he's not traded at that point, I think it's going to be hard to see him traded this season. I don't, because then that means that we're trading him for next year's draft picks.
yeah, I
So
agree. I think, like you said, if it's not day one or like beginning of day two, like when they start to draft off on Friday evening, and they're like, okay, with the 33rd pick, 34th pick, if we don't start hearing Debo's name called,
yeah,
I agree. I think he'll be with this team longer because I don't think that they're going to want to trade him for 2023 draft capital.
yeah. It's crazy to think, we're going to this draft party, we're here in Vegas, so the draft's here in Vegas, of course. And so we're going to this draft party, on the first day because, the 49ers don't have a draft, we're not expecting them to be picking the first day, right? So, the 49ers players, a couple players are going to be there at the party and whatever because they planned all this shit for us to do because we didn't have to see our team pick in the draft.
Yeah,
Now that might change.
who knows?
So this draft could definitely, it's going to be crazy, like Troy said.
Yeah, I had a question too. I don't know if you know or anybody in the chat can help me out. So I saw yesterday or today, I think it was yesterday, we saw that Jawan Jennings and Daniel Brunskill signed their tenders.
Hmm.
What's going on with Aziz Al Shire? Did he sign his?
Nope.
Wow. Okay. So could he be traded?
Good.
Hey, I mean, could he be traded? Somebody might say, "Hey, let me give you a third for him. I love Aziz, but we still got Greenlaw, stuff like that." And then we signed that guy from the Packers. What's his name? Orem Burks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I know he's a
I'm
special
not
teamer, but
expecting, yeah.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah. Well,
expecting him to actually.
yeah. Well, I mean, I I will say I'm gonna clap back on that one just because of D'Amico Ryan's because he's turned undrafted guys into pretty good players. So if
But yeah,
D'Amico
that's
Ryan's
undrafted guys coming into
yeah
the league. This
to the
guy's
league,
already been in the league and hasn't
yeah.
been shit.
How old is this dude?
I don't know.
So I think if
Yeah,
D'Amico
we
get his
still got
hands on him,
Flanagan
we
Foles
still got
too.
Flanagan Foles too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if D'Amico gets his hand on, he could be oh, he's already 27 though. So maybe not. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know.
But I mean, I think either way with Fred, whichever way it goes,
Greenlaw, yeah.
Fred, Dre, and Flanagan Falls,
Hmm.
or Fred,
Aziz,
Aziz, and Flanagan
either
Falls,
or, yeah,
like it's not bad.
yeah.
I mean, I'd much rather have those three,
Yeah, David,
Dre
I agree.
and
I just think that something might go down because Aziz or Greenlaw. I mean, it's great, like you said, having all three of them on the field at the same time is awesome.
yeah,
But yeah, I just think that the fact that Aziz hasn't signed his tender yet, like that's kind of crazy to me, especially because it's a second round tender, so he's gonna get paid pretty handsomely for the year he had. So
yeah.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
though, since he hasn't signed, like, what could he possibly other else like be waiting on?
Yeah, I don't
Like,
get it. Like they give you a second round, like you were undrafted. They gave you a second round tender, which is I forgot the compensation for that, but it's pretty good. It's a few million.
yeah, and if
What
another
are
team was offering him more, like, well, we would already known by then.
we
Now,
read no because then we would have traded
yeah,
into then we would have then it would have got us a second round pick.
yeah. Or
So
the
yeah,
49ers can match it, so
yeah,
that
or
would
they
have
can
came
match.
out. Like
Yeah.
the
So
fact
what
that
are they?
he's just not doing anything is kind of
Hmm.
strange.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck are you waiting for?
Yeah. How does he like 25? Let me see. Yeah, he's only 24 years old too.
Yeah.
First and 2 seconds. See, Troy. Of course I would take that in a heartbeat, but the fact that um, I don't even think that Tyreek Hill and Devonta Adams got that much compensation.
Right.
So I just don't think that Debo. And I get it, he's younger. He's a few years younger, but I just think that
He's younger, less
he,
proven,
he's younger, less proven.
injury
He
history.
had one elite season. I just don't think. I think that what you're asking for is for like an elite quarterback.
Yeah.
I think you get a player and 2 seconds. That's what I would think. But
Or
yeah,
a first and a player. Like,
but yeah, first on the player, yeah. But like somebody said too in spaces earlier, like all the, of course it's just fans, so it doesn't matter. But like a lot of the Packers fans were like, man, we have two first, and of course, I know they're going to draft a receiver with one of those picks because they have to. But it's like, if you can trade away those two first and walk away with the Deebo Samuel, then that's, you get a proven player to go with Aaron Rodgers. So, and again, somebody who's under the Shanahan coaching tree per se, with a
yeah.
little
I don't
floor
think
like
there's
that.
no way that they would trade him to
No,
Green Bay. I just don't think
even if
there's
they
no way.
offered him two first,
I don't think so. Especially what the the relationship between Shanahan and the head coach of
and
Green Bay, the
LaFleur,
way that
yeah,
we've seen that, and the tension when they're
yeah.
playing against each other, and like they hardly even freaking talk, as it is now, like because of all the shit that's
Oh, the
happened.
Aaron
Like,
Rodgers nonsense
yeah,
in the off
I just
seasons.
don't. Yeah,
Hey
I don't
Troy,
see
let
that
me ask
freaking
you
happening.
this. Let me ask you this, Troy. Me and Miriah talked about it earlier. What do you think about wide receiver Elijah Moore, pick number 35 and 38 from the Jets? What do you feel about that? But yeah, you got me thinking now, Mariah. Like, why wouldn't Aziz sign that tender? Like I said, Jawan Jennings and Daniel Brunskill just signed theirs barely yesterday.
Yep.
So I wonder what he's waiting for. I wonder if that's some more advice from an agent, like, oh, just hold off, or I don't know.
I
I
wonder
don't
who
get it.
his agent is.
I
Let's
don't
see.
know.
Let's see who it is.
Agent. And he got that. They offered him that tender on March 16th, so it's been well over a month.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's kind of interesting. And hold on, let me go back. I just clicked on it. So let me see. It was crazy too because I think it said the second round tender was like almost 4 million.
Yeah, 3986.
Yeah, see, that's pretty good for somebody undrafted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Getting that three
So I
point
don't
nine. So
know.
yeah, almost four
Just
million
under
dollars.
4, yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to me.
His agent says Sports Stars.
Oh, I don't know who
I
that
don't know
is.
who
Yeah,
that is either.
Aziz Al Shair. Other than Fred Warner, he's probably my second favorite linebacker.
It's definitely going to be an interesting week.
Yeah, I can't
Trade
wait.
with the
Is anybody in the chat? Is
draft.
anybody going to be at the draft? Me and Mariah will be there. You're going to be at the Friday one too. You said now, right?
No.
Oh, you're not. You're not going this time. Oh, you're not going.
Well, I
Oh,
wanted to, but I haven't been able to get a ticket, so I don't
oh,
know.
okay.
We'll see.
Yeah,
Maybe I can find one the day of or something.
maybe.
I can sneak in the back door.
I'll let you in. Just text
Yeah.
me. No, I'm just playing. Well, hopefully with Breezy and JC and all them running it, be like, hey, bro, is there any tickets for me to get in tomorrow or what? I just know one thing. I better qualify for that meet and greet because I bought my ticket like the first day that text came out back in January, and
Yeah.
I have a Elijah Mitchell shirt that I would like him to sign. So I
Yeah, I
better,
think like I don't know. I hate that it was like worded the way it was. Like if you're paying for the freaking meet and greet tickets, you should be getting the meet and greet,
yeah,
like
because I keep hearing them say like, oh, if there's time, like I know they said the VIPs get to meet them first, but they're like,
yeah.
oh, if there's time and this is that, okay, well, I
It's
think
like, well
if
then
you,
why did you pay for meet and greet tickets if you're not gonna be able to meet and greet them,
yeah,
like
yeah, I'm gonna hit up Breezy because we're supposed to kick it, so I'll be like, hey, bro, if I can't get to Elijah, here's the shirt, you have him sign it.
yeah.
Yeah,
We
so
better be able
yeah,
to freaking get to them paying freaking I had to pay for 2 fucking tickets, like 700 fucking bucks for that shit.
I know. I feel
And
you
then
on
not
that.
even be able to freaking meet them,
You're
like
like, I
that's
better meet
bullshit.
these fools, kind of money. That's
Yeah.
funny. Yeah,
For real.
you're funny.
Like that ain't just like some chump change just laying around, like when you could buy regular entry tickets for like $50 or whatever the hell it was,
Yeah,
like for the same thing. Like
yeah.
kind of fun.
So yeah, is there any questions in the chat or anything?
No,
I think we're
not
good, huh?
really. Yeah. It's been kind of a slow week of news and stuff, just
Yeah,
besides Debo, like
yeah.
without Debo drama every day, then there would be nothing much to talk
Nothing to
about
talk
lately.
about. Yeah, everybody has everybody's passed over Jim. He's not even talked about no more.
Yeah, it was announced, that he's not showing up this week to,
Oh, for the
the
yeah, for like the voluntary stuff or
yeah,
whatever. Yeah,
yeah.
I kind of knew he wasn't
So
coming anyway. And I think
um,
too, didn't they say something about him not showing up? He's gonna miss out on a $600,000 bonus for like a
yep.
workout bonus or something. That's crazy.
And the
I was
same Debo's missing out. He's missing out on 50,000 for not showing up.
oh yeah, I think he has to play, even if he's not traded, even though he's not going to be happy with his salary. Yeah, I think he's we said $4 million he'd be making, whatever the case may be. I think it'd be in his best interest to show up and play because like him not getting paid that money for a full year and being fine would not be smart.
And now the season it doesn't count if they don't show up now with the new CBA. So he'll
Mm,
be still in this same year of his contract.
really?
Yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah. If they hold out and don't play, that year don't count in their contract now. So
Mm,
he'll still just be in the third year of his contract still. So he'll be screwing himself if he tries
wow.
to hold out. Yeah, they made it that way specifically so players, it hurts them to hold out so much now.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yep. Like it don't occur the time or whatever. Like
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah. Um I mean, I guess we'll find out real soon what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, next week, um, did you want to do a show maybe on Wednesday before the draft, or do
Yeah.
you want to wait? Or do you want to wait till afterwards?
Well, we'll kind of play it by ear, see what happens. If
See if
Debo ends up
yeah,
getting trade, then
yeah,
we probably go live that day or before. If
okay,
something ends up happening the first day of the draft, I know that a lot of the content creators are going to be streaming from that place. So,
yeah,
maybe we can do a show from there for a little bit, go live for
yeah.
just a little bit and, see what's going on.
Denise, I say play hardball, trade him, and get as much as you can.
I mean, I'm
Yeah,
sure that's what they'll be trying to get,
I saw your tweet
especially
earlier
now that
too.
he
Yeah,
requested a trade. I mean, what else are you supposed to do at this point?
yeah. Well, I saw her tweet, and I don't know verbatim, but you're right, Denise. Like he always says, this out of his mouth, like I'm a football player. And now all of a sudden, like, oh, I don't want to do what's best for the team. Like, that's just crazy to me. So Denise is like, get this man off my team. He's a crybaby.
Yeah. I mean, like he don't want to do now all of a sudden everything that makes him what he is. So it's like, well, what like what worth do you have then? Like I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like we had talked about earlier. I don't buy it's the usage thing. I just don't buy it. I truly believe it's the money. Even though his camp is saying like, oh, it's not about the money. I don't. I call some foolishness on
Yeah.
that. I'm sorry because like we said, if the Niners said we'll give you 75 million guaranteed, he's taking that even if he has to play some snaps at running back.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It just seems like something strange, like to make things like go sour so fast. It's
Yeah,
like
in 2 weeks.
we're missing something,
Oh, for
Like
sure. Like you said too, the trade he requested trade April 6th, so it's been exactly 2 weeks since that trade request. So there's been some stuff that obviously has went on in these last 2 weeks that put a sour taste in Debo's mouth. But
Yep.
at the same time, it's like, and I just hope, like I said, I'm all for the organization first over a player. That's true. Debo wasn't complaining when Kyle was making him a star. That's true.
Mhm.
So yeah, I just you look at it, I just hope that it doesn't come out that like he got super lowballed because like I said, I'm all team first, and if he got lowballed, that doesn't look good for future free agents.
Yeah.
because they're gonna be like, I'm not gonna want to come here. They're gonna lowball me and stuff like that. So hopefully the deal was fair. I mean, well, to be honest, hopefully he doesn't get traded at all. Hopefully they come to an agreement. But if he is traded, hopefully it comes out to the fact that, the 49ers were fair. They offered him, a decent amount of money. Because I'm gonna be honest here. I understand that Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs got 70 million. If he turned down like 55 guaranteed, I'll be disappointed in him. That's fair. Like that's 55 million. That's what, almost 10 million more guaranteed than Trent Williams, who arguably is the best player on the team.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, Denise. Like he sells merchandise on his website, like calling himself that, and now all of a sudden he doesn't want to do that. Like that's what just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, at all.
Like
So
just at the Pro Bowl, he's telling the freaking announcers and shit that that's what he is. That you know that he's
yeah,
not a wide receiver. That he's a wide back. That he's more than a wide receiver. But now all of a sudden, no.
exactly. That's what we said too. Like he was never forced to be called that. He came out with that on his own. So I agree,
Yeah,
Denise.
branded it and all. But
Yep.
so something strange is going on.
Absolutely.
And then you add that with the fact that he has a close relationship with Shanahan. And then so it's just like I don't know, something ain't adding up.
Yep. Well,
But
thanks
yeah,
for joining in, fam. We appreciate you guys as always. I see a couple new faces. I mean, I'm sorry if you joined before. Bebop, I've never seen you in the comments, but I hope you come back. David
yeah, they
McNew.
just subscribed the other
Oh,
day. Bebop
perfect.
did.
Okay. I appreciate you guys for sure.
Yep. Thank you, fam. We appreciate you guys as always. We'll see you sometime this week, I'm sure. Even if it's just for a little bit, we'll go live to show you guys our attempt at our meet and greet with Fred Warner and Elijah Mitchell. But yeah, I mean, there's supposed to be a lot of content creators there going live.
Yeah.
So as long as we can steal some of their Wi-Fi, we should be able to go
Yeah, I
live as well.
saw I saw I mean I know of course it's John Chapman because the fence is like Breezy, I think Jason Aponte, right? And then that 49ers Chrissy, and there's somebody else that didn't ring
Yeah,
a
I
bell,
think
but
they
yeah,
said like 7 people.
7 creators. So.
Yeah, and then I heard yesterday that Grant is not coming now.
Oh,
So
he's not now. Oh,
no.
okay, okay.
Yeah, I guess like he said during his show with his dad yesterday, I think it was that with the 49ers not having a pick on day 1, and that's the big day, and then after that, like anybody that the 49ers would possibly be picking in day 2, like they're not going to be here in Vegas, like live at the
Yeah,
draft anyways. So
for sure.
he said that everything that he could do from here he can do from there, at home, and
That's
not be
fair.
spending the money, and he's like in the middle of buying a house and shit. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
like,
I feel him.
that's time consuming
I
as that
appreciate
is.
that,
So
Bebop.
but yeah, thank you so much. Please like, subscribe, share with a friend, tell a friend. We appreciate you guys. Talk to you guys soon. Everybody stay safe out there.
All right, fam. Thank you.
Let me see. Wait, before we go, if my new video works. Let's see. Because I don't know how to
Okay.
work this shit. We're learning. It's learning process here.
Okay.
I got a whole bunch of videos. So let's see which one I want to play for you guys. Go through them all. You can see which one you guys like the best. This is what I've been doing in my.
Good job, Miriah.
Yeah, see? Didn't
Or
know I was so talented, huh?
yeah.
All right.
No,
Bye,
this
guys.
ain't.